Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. We're going to get to it and her marrying that family that enslaved us. Can we talk about it? Everybody talking about biracial, interracial. All I'm talking about is enslavement. So y'all want to talk about interracial marriages and who a black man marries, who a black woman marries, but y'all want to talk about her marrying this family that enslaved us. Can we talk about it? Queen. Yes, Queen. What up, Lorraine? We finna get to it. They put us in chains. Now she got the diamond ring. Can we talk about it? Can we get honest today? So this is Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Looking forward to having a great discussion about Meghan Markle visiting Harlem and this kind of thing that she has going on of, I believe, using Black America as a prop to kind of anchor her reason for being with Harry, her reason for celebrity, while she lived her life basically saying she was gray instead of being black. When I say gray, she made up a category that had not existed in American racial structuring to avoid being black. Let's just talk about it. In a sense, now there's no place to go. I told you guys it wasn't going to work with her going to that inside of that family. I told you what they were going to do. If you don't remember, 3 years ago I did a show and I said it was not going to work and that they were going to cast her into the corner and it was going to be her issue to deal with. But it is black people, in particular black women, that made a decision that they were going to prop her up. And not all black women, just a section. Yes, Queen. While avoiding the fact that not only did she marry Harry, putting aside him being a white male, which in and of itself each person can judge, he is of the family that enslaved Adolf's people. He is from the family. The wealth that they are using and projecting is the wealth that came directly out of enslaving your family. And you up here talking about, yes, Queen. Can we talk about it? As I look at it, I look at black folks unable to digest lineal arguments that extend beyond race and color. I look at it and I see black folks unable to understand that Harry is of the crown, which I'll get into in a second, that them jewels that you see that she wore at that wedding, them jewels come from your blood. So you want to talk about reparations, but you want to be up and talking about, yes, Queen, to this lady marrying into this family. But before we get there, what I'm talking about today is this outfit, this several $1,000s outfit, the jewelry, the $300,000 worth of jewelry. Contextualizing it, the middle black family in America is worth $1,500 without $2,000 or so without depreciating assets. Somebody would say, is she supposed to dress like us? Yeah, because she's using us. She out there using us as props for hugs and kisses. Can we talk about it? So we have her in this outfit. We have her with a $5,800 coat, $1,600 pants, and $380,000 worth of jewelry. Meghan Markle has been caught in yet another sliver of controversy after wearing an outfit worth more than a house deposit while speaking to underprivileged kids at a school in New York City. Harlem's PS 123 Mahalia Jackson School was granted a visit by the Duchess of Sussex and her husband, Prince Harry, alongside New York City Schools Chancellor Maisha Porter on Friday, presumably to pump some royal optimism into the inner city establishment. It was also, let's get it right, because don't nobody come out until it's time to sell something. It was also to sell this book. Meghan Markle has written a children's book, and it's awful. The Bench. It's about Prince Harry and Archie, and so she promoting the book, and she can come out and mess with black folks. I see y'all in there. Can I speak that truth? Sosa out here. We got people already in here, and we about to have this discussion. A lot of people. I got some tweets that came from some nonsense on Twitter. The public school of 461 students also provides shelter for disadvantaged families struggling with housing. So this school that provides shelter, the Duchess of Sussex choice of attire while being at the school is an $8,000 Laura Piana cashmere coat and a matching set of $2,300 pants. The pair were promoting early literacy to the small New York school, talking about Harry and Meghan. Adding apparent insult to injury, the Duchess was also wearing $380,000 worth of jewelry. Come on. And $700 shoes. Some suede boots. So we in here, and Meghan Markle done decided she don't want to be part of the crown, even though she got all the pictures. She went and did the wedding. That was the moment when the wedding happened. You need to say, we're not doing the wedding there. We're going to do it here, and we're not going to be part. No, you did the wedding, and you put it on the tiara, and the queen supposedly told you can't wear the top tiara. You got to wear the bottom one, and you put the bottom one on. You did the wedding, but now it ain't go right, so now you black again. Can we talk? Now you black again. Or black for the first time, because you told us you were gray. So you got this book by Meghan Markle. In this book, she's written this children's book. Again, this is a liberal website, as I understand it. And it's awful, according to them. I ain't read it, but I ain't going to read it. For me, what Meghan Markle represents is the inability for Black Americans, African Americans that are in America, ADOS people, to understand the consequence of lineage on them. Slavery, Jim Crow. She represents the inversion. See, what happens is if you have a group and you don't have no exclusion, you don't have a group. What happens is, meaning if you have a Black group and anybody that has a drop of it, no matter of how their actions are throughout their life, gets to come be part of your group, you don't really have a group. What happens is if you create a group, understand, where people have two ADOS parents, and then the person who has one ADOS parent and says they're great can be elevated to the top of that group, you don't have a group. All you have is somebody waiting for the aberration so that they don't have to deal with the consequence of that group. So Meghan Markle, Barack Obama, they represent everything that happens if you didn't have Black folks go through slavery and Jim Crow. Can we talk? So that's why y'all love it. Y'all love it because it isn't a representation and a reflection of ADOS' life, because her life is a reflection of her white parents. Barack Obama's life is a reflection of his white parents. Can we talk? So they out here. Oh man, this gonna get juicy. So she went down there and tried to promote her book and was hugging and kissing little Black babies. Okay. And y'all was in here talking about, yes, queen. And so for so many of you guys, the problem is that you'll then say something about a Black man marrying a white woman, or a Black woman marrying any white woman in America, or a Black woman marrying any white man in America. But this ain't marrying a white person. This is marrying the family that anchored and created and funded the enslavement of your family. I need you to see it, because I don't think you can, because we don't really live on lineage in that sense. But I'm going to make it clear today, because I ain't heard enough people really talk about it. I haven't heard enough people get honest about who Harry is and who the family that Harry comes from is. We just let her get married and then sat down and watched the Oprah interview and act like everything's fine. I don't know where you go from here when white people have 115 trillion, you have 6, and 60% of the 6 is pensions. As ADOS people, we have 6 trillion and 60% is pensions. White people have 115 trillion. Only 20% being pensions. I don't know where you go from here. But you're celebrating this when it comes from this. Let me say it again. You are celebrating Meghan Markle, Harry, as she comes down and takes these pictures with the little Black babies. This gray girl, she said she's gray, so I'm going to call her gray, as an achievement when you're not dealing with this. Let's talk. Let's read. In Britain, let me back up. Throne of blood. It's time for the British royal family to make amends for centuries of profiting from slavery. This is the family that this man comes from. This is the family that she married into. This is the family that, yes, queen, y'all celebrated as you woke up that early in the morning. This isn't just a white man. No. This is lineage on full display. Can we get to it? Can we talk? Let me look in the chat. Can I talk? I'm going to get into it in a second with y'all. I'm going to read from her exact words that she read. We got a lot of black women using this like Play-Doh out here with dolls and Cabbage Patch dolls and My Little Pony. And we out here trying to do politics, and you don't understand why this is basically guts black politics. Y'all should have gutted her entire image once she was marrying this man. Black women should come out in mass saying, I don't want her marrying into, I don't want her as a representation of us marrying into this family that enslaved us. This is the family that sat at the center. Throne of blood. It's time for the British royal family to make amends for centuries of profiting from slavery. In Britain, as in the US, the anti-racism protests that have erupted since the police killing of George Floyd in late May have reinvigorated campaigns for reparation for slavery. Having only recently acknowledged their historical links to slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, British universities and London financial institutions are facing calls to make amends for past injustices and pay reparations to the descendants of enslaved people. But one institution has remained silent, the British monarchy. Let me put this up. The British monarchies. Still, it's no secret that the history of the British royal family is intertwined with slavery. The slave trading initiative endorsed by the English monarchy began with Queen Elizabeth I's enthusiastic support of John Hawkins' slave expeditions in 1560s. In 3 separate voyages backed by government officials, London merchants, and the Queen, Hawkins raided African settlements on the West African coast and seized hundreds of slaves captured by the Portuguese. Let me read some more that isn't on this page. During the reign of King Charles II from 1660 to 1685, the crown and members of the royal family invested heavily in the African slave trade, seeking to bolster the wealth and power. Let me pull this up so you can actually have this. Of the restored monarchy and to supplant the Dutch in the Atlantic trading system, Charles granted a charter to the Company of Royal Adventures into Africa, a private joint stock company less than 6 months after ascending the throne. The charter gave the Royal Adventurers a 1,000-year monopoly over trade, land, and adjacent islands along the west coast of Africa, stretching from what has been known as Cape Blanco in the north to Cape Hope in the south. The king lent the company a number of royal ships, including a vessel called the Blackamoor, and reserved for himself the right to 2/3 of the value of any gold mines discovered. Controlling English trade with West Africa in gold, hides, ivory, redwood, and ultimately slaves offered the prospect of revenue streams that would enable the crown to gain financial independence from the parliament. The company's intimacy with the royal family proved attractive to investors seeking to profit from the sale and exploitation of African men, women, and children. Between Barack Obama not giving us reparations while giving white folks the equivalent of reparations, while not being ADOS and elected only by ADOS, and Meghan Markle marrying into a family that enslaved your family and you celebrating it, I don't know what you're going to do about getting past the reality of the America that is coming down this pike. Can we talk? You can't understand basics? Y'all celebrated this? Y'all want to talk to me about reparations? Don't understand. You don't celebrate the family that enslaved you marrying a Meghan Markle that said she was gray. You don't know not to celebrate that? I mean, come on. In 1663, the Royal Adventurers received a new, let me pull up another picture. In 1663, the Royal Adventurers received a new charter explicitly granting the company an exclusive right among English traders to purchase enslaved captives on the West African coast and transport them to English colonies in the Americas. Sponsored by the king's inner circle and politicians and courtiers expecting to use the African trade for personal profit, the fledgling company set out to deliver thousands of African captives to the English Caribbean. Upon disembarking, Africans who survived the horrors of the Middle Passage were sold to English buyers or to foreign traders looking to acquire slaves for transshipment to Spanish America. These people profiteered off of your family's enslavement. This gray woman who said she wasn't black, she's black, white, gray, she made that up to run from blackness. married the family, and you elevated her as if it was an achievement for black folks. Now she down at a Harlem school selling a book, hugging and kissing with little black babies with almost $400,000 worth of clothes on. And y'all talking to me while black folks suffer boot to neck with no wealth about Meghan Markle. I need to understand 310-388-3499. Maybe somebody else in the chat can explain how that craze leads to any kind of black politics or reparative justice. If that's in your house, whether you're a husband, whether you're a wife, whether you're a daughter, your house needs some fixing. I need you to understand what's going on because a lot of people seem to not get it. I'm just telling you, ain't nobody really been talking about the way that Meghan Markle, I didn't make it up, married the family that enslaved black folks, ADOS folks in particular. Black folks I don't understand how that wasn't the biggest discussion. Everybody talked about her marrying a white man and married a prince. Nobody talked about the fact that this family enslaved us. But now she's down there at the school trying to sell her book. And we all okay with it. Oprah interviewing her, leaving that part out. Hey, Harry, what do you think about your family enslaving her family? That's a good question. Oprah asked that. Just telling you. And so we got Meghan Markle on one side, and we got Obama on the other. The two together represent basically that I don't know if ADOS people have gained the cultural lineal understanding or capacity to understand the lineal realities of how they both never should have been elevated. You got Barack Obama, half Kenyan, half white, Kenyan, East African, and white, anchored in the whiteness. He's elected almost entirely by the push of ADOS black folks, in particular black folks at large in America. Once elected, white folks are collapsing. He says he's not going to do reparations, but he does a form of reparations that he knows, as does government, will elevate white folks to this line. So basically, he takes white folks, white America, from collapsing while telling black folks they can't get reparations because he don't believe in it, from around 60 to 65, 67 trillion to almost 100. So he says he's not, so this Kenyan man who's half Kenyan, half white, nothing wrong with that, but it should never have been connected to ADOS people. Gets elected by ADOS because we see him in the image of this flat blackness. Once elected, he tells us that he's not going to give us reparations because he don't believe in that kind of specific kind of thing that resolves and deals with slavery and Jim Crow. But then he proceeds to give white folks a form of reparations for a recent collapse that had nothing to do with enslavement or anything, but just bad choices. And that led to them not just gaining their money back that they had lost during the recession, but going up to nearly $100 trillion. And y'all let this happen. So y'all let Obama happen. You voted for him. I voted down by the Democrat both elections, 08 and 12. And then you turned around and then you let Meghan Markle happen. And you celebrated Meghan Markle on the basis of Yas Queen and everything else, not knowing that she said she was great, and also not knowing that she's marrying into not a white family. She's marrying into the family that enslaved our families. Can we talk? 310-388-3499. I know this might be a little heavy. But we got to slow it down because she's down in Harlem selling books, wearing almost between the jewelry and the clothes, $400,000 in clothes, when the middle black family has nearly no wealth in America. And we celebrate it because it makes us feel like achievement. I need you to see what's going on. But while I'm dealing with just posting tweets just to hint towards certain directions, what I get back is these tweets. So understand, remember this Throne of Blood article, and you can go read the whole thing yourself from Slate. As I read these tweets, y'all hate her because she's great. This is a K Wonder One. It's typical to see how many people hate her. Greatness is to be hated by people who aren't great. This is the writing of an 8-year-old. No, maybe 10. This is not a developed level of, you've used the word hate and great about 6 times. Y'all hate her because she's great. Greatness is to be hated by people who aren't great. While y'all Twitter hate. Okay. Come on, bro. You got another one. Just because you and your likes always have an ulterior motive doesn't mean other people do. Speak for yourself and stop trying to create a story where there is none. David Foster, you can't talk to these people. It's the age of negativity. Okay, let's slow it down. Okay, everybody in the chat, follow me on this. He said the age of negativity. So for black folks in America to deal with her trying to sell a book with black little babies as she's married into this family, the family that had this throne of blood, is a negativity age. I don't even know how this man's leading the family, bro. I don't know how you expect to do any politics with somebody who thinks this way. People can't think for themselves. They do not do no legwork and believe everything they hear. Da, 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 da. Last one. Zadok Avaram. I don't even know. She is black. Get it into your skull. Tell me how she used black people. Well, she said she was gray and then went down to this black school to sell this little book and took a bunch of pictures hugging them and stuff and reading to them to sell this book. That's how she used them. 310-388-3499 to call in. Let's get the chat going. I see everybody in here. What y'all think about this? I'm just telling you the truth. Y'all voted for Obama, then got up in the morning for Meghan Markle, and now want to talk to me about why we ain't got no reparations and why politics look the way it is and why your family's struggling. Well, your vote. Your vote. I know it's heavy. I know y'all love Prince Harry. Has the British media turned on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? I don't get into that, but I just know I ain't got no love lost for this marriage. But I do remember this. Y'all remember when Harry had on the outfit? Prince Harry slammed for supporting Hitler's reign, dubbed Harry the Nazi. In 2005, while trying to find quirky and unique costumes to wear to a friend's themed fancy dress party, Prince William and Prince Harry responded dress shopping in public. Sticking to the party's colonial and native themes, as reported by the Daily Mail, the brothers once dipped into a shop and picked up two distinct costumes. While Prince Harry decided to go as a lion, Prince William decided to go as a lion, Prince Harry chose a khaki uniform that not only complemented his skin and bright red hair, but also featured a blazing armband with a black Nazi sign. So he got this sign on, and she hugging and kissing, and everything good. And we don't want to deal with it, and we don't want to talk about it. We want to be gas queen. Can we talk? 310-388-3499. Everybody kind of, I know it's a lot because we don't really think about it like she married the family that enslaved us, but it's just the truth. We don't like to think about, Obama said no to our reparations, turned around, gave white folks reparations. We don't like to think about Harry had on that outfit and what it means. We don't like to think about the conversations that were had about how you're going to give us them black eyeballs. That's what you're going to give us, and we're going to let you marry into this family. But I'm gray, though. Well, just tell them you black. They'll believe. Meghan Markle saw herself as biracial, but the royals saw her as black. Let me say it again. Meghan Markle saw herself as biracial, but the royals saw her as black. One of the most intriguing questions still lingering. Come on. Let's get into it. From Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's interview with Oprah Winfrey is who in the royal family was concerned about whether the couple might have a dark-skinned baby. Markle dropped the bombshell Sunday night in a broad-ranging interview during which she also disclosed that the royal family chose not to give her son the title of prince, though exceptions to protocol were made for the Queen's other great-grandchildren. In the months when I was pregnant, we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security. He's not going to be given a title, and also concerns the conversation about how dark his skin might be when he's born, Markle said. But you're still in the family, and you knew this was going to happen. But now you want to act like you're confused to play on the fact that black folks come out in mass to support other black folks. It's all a game, man. I act surprised. It's unlikely the thought ever crossed Harry or Markle's mind Archie would simply be their son, but to someone in the royal family, he would be their black son. Seemingly, Markle always... So the family that funded slavery, it's surprising that they would react the way they reacted to a black baby being in their family. Maybe if you're gray, you think that way. Seemingly, Markle always tried to exist as if she were colorless. This is an article from Chicago Tribune by Miss Glanton. In an essay published in Elle magazine, and I have that essay, we'll talk about it in a second in her own words. We're not going to put words in Meghan Markle's mouth. We're going to read her own words. She said, my dad is Caucasian, my mom is African American. I'm black and half white. She knew that they wanted her to be more specific, but she could never bring herself to declare a race, which in her mind would be like choosing between her parents. She liked being called ethnically ambiguous. She enjoyed living in a, quote, gray area. That's a luxury to live in, except it ain't reality. That is a post-reparative justice reality. That is a reality that comes when people do the work. What you see right now is Black America at large is suffering under a light where they need Barack Obama's image because their brother is failing too bad. They need Meghan Markle's shine because their grandmama ain't something they want to see as a reflection of black folks. I don't want to see Sanford and Son, even though everybody in my family is Sanford and Son. I need our kind of people. So you're going to put this up where she looked just like this lady, Kate and Meghan. I mean, they might as well be the same. Just telling you, she said she's gray. Oh, man. Y'all went with this nonsense. Let me show you what gray people do. Hold on. Let's go to the back. It's her sorority. Can y'all find her? Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? This is her sorority. Here she go in the middle. Y'all see her right here? I didn't see her at first either. She melded right in. That's her sorority. This is her friendship circle. Look at her on the end. Always be wary when you're willing to be a black person on the end of white people's photos. Now it's different if it's like a mix or something. But look at this nonsense, bro. Meghan Markle left a trail of bush trees on her way to Prince Harry. Look at this one. She on the end again. Y'all done elevated this young woman and don't even know who she is. Come on, bro. Where's Waldo? Where's she at? Y'all see her? Let me zoom in. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? You see Meghan Markle? I see her. There she go. What's your name, caller?
Hey, how you doing, Tone? It's Rashid calling in from Maryland.
Rashid, go ahead, Rashid.
So I thought it was interesting the fact that her whole life she got to take a step back from having to deal with race because she's so fair skinned, right? So, but the reality is that when she actually got into those rooms with higher upper echelon people, they were like, well, it doesn't matter what you are. It don't matter if you're the millionaire out your family. Your family are lowborn people, and they didn't care. So it's like Oprah trying to lessen the blow of racism that still exists in our face today is funny, because she's there to put a spin on as control, as opposition control, right? She's there to make it seem like the constant wars that America does ain't that bad. The constant racism that we have to face ain't that bad. The issues that we're facing directly in our community isn't that bad because if you work hard enough, you can escape it. But she just showed you that she just got with a prince and, it still didn't do nothing. Like they still looked down on you. They still didn't want to give their kids protection. They still don't want to give their kids the social capital that comes with a family like that, So they're making a loud announcement to say, hey, this woman and all of the children that come from her are not going to be given the benefit of the family, So I just thought that was crazy. I just want to call in to say that because a lot of people think that they're going to outwork their social status and they're going to outwork race issues in the country. Like they're going to be that exceptional or what is it called, the talented 10th or something. It's like that ain't happening. It just ain't happening. Like when you woke up, when you realize what your bank account looks like, who your parents are, who your children are probably going to be. That's the day you woke up and you saw your positionality in the hierarchy of the world. Wherever you woke up, that's where you got to fight from.
Let me say two things. First of all, please subscribe to the channel, press the like button, share this. Secondly, 310-388-3499. Call in. We want to hear about what you think about Meghan Markle. One last thing. What do you think about her visiting Harlem and hugging them black babies?
I thought it was just using them. You know, it's the same thing when those Ghanaians brought the elders from the Tulsa massacre over, and they're like, "We're going to get you citizenship, and we're going to drape you in all this costumes and stuff." You know, they when they need you know to be out there in the freight of society, it's like, oh, it's all elbows reading the kids. So when it actually comes time to doing stuff for anybody, she ain't saying, hey, you know, reparations to the people who your family did all these atrocities. You know, so.
Thank you so much, man. Great call. Woo, we got the fire. Let's take another caller. 310-388-3499. Let's hear your opinion. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Go ahead and hit it.
My name is William Dixon. I'm calling from Winston, North Carolina.
What's your thoughts on her visiting the school? And then give me anything else you want to talk about.
So, Tom, what I want to touch on was when you spoke about the tweet, the guy saying you being negative. I get that a lot when we throw a cushion back on all this symbolism and emotionalism. People say, oh, you're being negative, oh, you're being a hater. What you pointing out, Tom, is the caller before me. Basically what they did in Ghana to them people is out of Oklahoma that went there. They turn them into mascots. And a lot of times black folks don't understand when they're being used as a mascot. When you get on these social media, you state the fact. With everything you stated was the fact. But they saying it's negativity. You say, well, go research it and prove me wrong. They ain't gonna do that. You see, they ain't gonna do none of that. They're gonna just try to undermine what you stated as being negative. My thing, I always say to people, how do you fix the problem that you're refusing to see? And I see that a lot in our group. We refuse to see the problem. So how can we fix it? You see, when you talk about Obama and Meghan, we can't fix that because we refuse to see it.
But this is let me jump in here, caller. Let me jump in here. It's not. I think that stops short. I think that we created this as an outlet to not do Sanford and Son. Basically, we've decided that we gonna live on the life as if reparations happen, and we gonna find So let me make the point again that I made earlier. A true group, when you actually have like 2 ADOS parents, 4 ADOS grandparents, and that cost, you kind of get elevated. What we do is the reverse. We seek out people that actually get all their wealth and privilege outside of being ADOS. And if they have a droplet of ADOS, use that to cover up the cost of being ADOS. And we'll go as far as, that's Meghan Markle. We'll go as far as to find somebody that looks like ADOS, as in Barack Obama, and gets the money for being white, and then use that as a, tell your son he can be president too. No, because you his mama, and you his daddy. He don't have a Kenyan daddy that went to Harvard. He don't have a white grandma that was a banker in the 60s. He got you. And so like you ADOS. And so like what we have now is this group that you'll have a young black girl. Basically, rightfully so, you can be frustrated about interracial dating in the morning. Then at night, celebrate Meghan Markle marrying Prince Harry. Not only Prince Harry, but into the crown. You don't know who you are. Let's go, caller. What you think?
I think I don't think I know you're 100% right. You're 100% right. You're spot on. And I stress that to people all the time. It's like listening to a person talk and you have to stop them and say, do you understand that your conversation within itself is conflict? You see, your whole conversation is conflict in itself, and they don't even understand it. Then you break it down and show them how they sit there and look like a deer in the headlights.
And let me ask you one other thing, caller, because I brought it up a couple of times. I haven't heard. That's why I kind of brought it home in this show multiple times. Let me pull up the image because you were watching earlier. Want to pull it up again. Okay. I haven't heard enough people talk about this family created and funded slavery in large part. Like I haven't heard very little at all. Like it almost like media was pushed not to even talk about that. So black folks should be against this marriage, if anything.
Yep.
Last thing you should do is celebrate it. I can understand just being quiet somewhat. I don't even understand that. This isn't a white man. This is a man who comes from this family that made this crown off your grandmama, your great-great-great-grandmama's slave blood. The cotton, 70% of the cotton we made here was transshipped to Britain. They basically didn't have slavery there because they had it here. So now she married into that family, and you telling me I'm negative for talking about it. Bruh, you too little. Get your chest up. Hey, go ahead.
To me, Tone, we got a group that they get up, they put on the glasses wrong, but they force themselves to see the world with upside down glasses.
Come on.
And you can walk up, and it's a simple fix. I say, brother, look, I want to take the glasses off. You're wearing them wrong. I'm going to just put them on your face correctly. You'll be able to see. And it scares the hell out of them. It scares the hell out of them. But reality is hard to swallow for something. See, I always tell people, in this fight we in, we need soldiers that know how to lead from following. You see, we ain't got this now. So what you're saying, it scares people because they need that false reality, Tone.
Let me read something to you from somebody in the chat. Shout out to my moderator, P6. You joined an all-white sorority. You had nothing to at all to do with black people. Look at this. Where's Waldo picture? Where is Waldo? Let me zoom in. Y'all can find her. Y'all find her. Oh, is that her? Is that her? There she go. There she go. Look here, man. Hey, caller, I'm gonna let you go. I want to take some more callers. I'll try to make this a call heavy show. Thank you, man. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? I got Where's Waldo on. I got Meghan Markle in her sorority picture. Let me take it again. Woo, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Wendy. I'm calling from Atlanta. You know what? My mother told me that you cannot move forward until you admit your starting point. And see, what's wrong with Adolf's people is they would rather believe that they're our kind of people as opposed to who they really are, which is why most of us are stuck in blissful ignorance.
Hey, man. And what's happened, let me tell you this. It's actually a great deal if you don't have ADOS parents. Meaning, you create this group, ADOS, and there's just debt here. But like people that look like us come here, like Barack Obama, classic example, and you don't have none of the cost in his family. So then he don't have to bear any of that. I have it all. So then you didn't elevate him because he looked like us. And then what's this group? This group has to be built on lineage, not color. And then that lineage has to then have requirements where people don't call themselves gray and marry into the family that enslaves your lineage. Go ahead.
Well, see, the first thing is that Meghan has been trying to access whiteness her whole life. You know, you judge people by the company that they keep. And I heard that her mother is biracial too, which means that she really doesn't consider herself ADOS or black or colored or anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. But the problem is that we don't see her for who she really is.
Yeah, because we don't anchor the discussion in lineage.
A colored woman, not a white woman with a little color on her.
Yeah,
that's what she is. That's who she is.
Let me listen to your point. Just follow me. I'm gonna read something. I want you to be the person that reacts to what I read. Let me pull it up because I don't like speaking out of turn, and I want to get people's real words. Meghan Markle, I'm more than the other. This is her actual article. Follow me. It's going to be about 5 minutes of reading. I'm going to come right to you. You give me your thoughts. What are you? A question I get asked every week of my life. This is the words of Meghan Markle herself. She goes to Harlem, visit these little black babies to sell this book with $400,000 worth of stuff on. Black families largely wealthless. This school is used as a shelter. She's so detached. What are you? A question I get asked every week of my life, often every day. Well, I say as I begin the verbal dance. It ain't no dance for a black person. I'm black. I know all too well I'm an actress, a writer, the editor-in-chief of my lifestyle brand, The Tig. What happened to The Tig? A pretty good cook and a firm believer in handwritten notes. She's saying everything to say she's not black. A mouthful, yes, but one that I feel paints a pretty solid picture of who I am. But here's what happens. They smile and nod politely, maybe and chuckle before getting to their point, right? But what are you? Where are your parents from? I knew it was coming. I always do. While I could say Pennsylvania and Ohio and continue this proverbial two-step, I still give them what they're after. My dad is Caucasian. My mom is African-American. I'm half black and half white. To describe something as being black and white means that it is clearly defined. Hold on for a second. This young woman clearly did not get history lessons. You just black, baby. Baby, you black. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. That's the way this nation has been set up. I know you wanted to create another world. You found out in that castle when they put you in that chair and they told you that you're gonna get the bottom tiara. They had 10 tiaras. She said, I want the middle one. Queen said, you get the one on the bottom. To describe something as being black and white means it is clearly defined. Yet when your ethnicity is black and white, the dichotomy is not that clear. In fact, it creates a gray area. She made this up. Being biracial paints a blurred line that is equal parts staggering and illuminating. She has no idea about the one drop rule. When I was asked by Elle to share my story, I'll be honest, I was scared. It's easy to talk about which makeup I prefer, my favorite scene I filmed, the rigmarole of day in life, how much, She don't want to talk about race. Let me see. It's one more section I'm going to read to you, and then I'm going to come right to you, Juanita. Listen to this, y'all. I see y'all in the chat. It's Juanita, I'm going to come right to you right after I read this. Let me go into the chat. Please just hold on for a second because you always come with it. She said she gray, y'all. We ain't never had a gray category. Maybe y'all can look at the census and show me where it say gray. Just as black and white, when mixed, make gray, in many ways, that's what it did to my self-identity. It created a murky area of who I was, a haze around how people connected with me. I was gray. And this is what I'm saying. No, you're black. The gray is still black in America. That's what they did with the one drop rule. How did you not get a history lesson from your black mama if you was around her? And who wants to be this indifferent color, devoid of depth and stuck in the middle? I certainly didn't. So you make a choice. Continue living your life feeling muddled in the abyss of self-misunderstanding, or you find your identity independent of it. You push for colorblind casting. You draw your own box. You cultivate your life, and people who don't, come on, bruh. She basically said, you just make yourself white. And that's what she did. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I'm going to just sum all of that up like this. First husband was white, then she traded him in, she called herself marrying up. And she got in there with those British rules, and she found out that she's still a nigga. That's it, that's all. And that's why she had come to America.
And what we did as black, hey, Juanita, and black women said, yes, queen, and treated her as if she said she was black the whole time. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I blame a lot of this on her black mother, because that could have been nipped in the bud. That she, when she got old enough to understand, her mother could have taught her that she was black.
Mm-hmm.
And she would have had that box in her brain, but her mother didn't do that. They probably went around the house talking about, I don't see color.
Yep.
So
that's what I just said.
So she saw, I mean, she ain't stupid. She saw who had the money, so she decided she gonna be great, which is close as she could get to being white. Because she don't want to be black, because we ain't got nothing.
That's what's going on. You hit it on the nail. And
it's obvious to me what she got going on.
And let me say this, Juanita, let's go back to your point. Juanita, let's not leave that. We don't got nothing. But the one thing we got is being black, and we decided we're going to get that to you for free. Come on. Say it again. Juanita said we don't got nothing, which is true in terms of wealth. Come on, man. It didn't make no sense. Any last thing you want to say to the audience?
People, I just say this was another example of Adolf's people not reading, not listening, and not paying attention. Because all you had to do look at her little interviews that she gave before she married the prince, and you would have known what she was on. You know, when they started talking about how she was Northwestern, which I'm from Chicago, that is a private white school. There's very few adult folks running around there. Most of the people with melanin come from somewhere else. It's like Harvard.
Come on.
And that's what she went from California to the coast so she could play like a white girl. And then she lived her life like that. And I don't understand why she worked at Kamala, because at least Kamala tried to fake the funk and become an AKA.
And you know what's funny, to your point, people, you'll say that about the white girl thing, and they'll say you can't say that about her. We don't know that. But then you look at this and you see it. What are you talking about? Like,
all you gotta do is look at how she lives her life. You judge people by the company they keep.
Bruh.
I mean, it's apparent from where she went to school, who she associated with when she got to that school, who she married.
I'm just saying.
How she got to do what she was doing, and how she got her white girlfriend introduced her to the prince.
Can we bring it? Let's bring it back to the show and tell me what you think about her visiting Harlem to sell this bad book.
That was a photo op. And as for her having a charity, like I wrote in the chat, when people are in that tax bracket, they get charity because they need to look good, so people don't tax them by having money, and plus they get a tax write-off. All that was down in profile, and they got $20 million from Netflix, and now she's hustling a book.
I'm just
saying. And a lifestyle brand. They got more money over here than they would over there in England. Plus, she ain't got to deal with her grandmother-in-law and all them other white people.
But what do you think about her wearing $400,000 worth of clothes and jewelry at this school that has a shelter on it?
That shows how out of touch with reality she is. I mean, at least when Obama was fronting that she was $8, he would have came up in there in khakis and a button down, and maybe a blazer, but he wouldn't have been that ostentatious. But she's so oblivious to, who she is and where she's at. That's why she did that, and I don't understand why people don't see that.
Well, I just told you it's because if you can't see Meghan Markle marry, I didn't really see. It should be the preeminent discussion amongst African Americans, meaning Black Americans, ADOS people, that she married the family that enslaved our families, and it's literally nowhere. Like, it's not the first thing that people talk about. They talk about a lot of other stuff. This family enslaved us. And then the other thing is the same with Barack Obama, who basically said no to our reparations, which we talked about earlier, and then gave white people reparations. And then y'all, like, nobody talked about it but me and Yvette. That's it. Look at it. You can see it on the chart. This dip is white folks collapsing. He could just let them collapse and then not give us reparations. I'm not giving nothing to nobody. No, he said, I'm going to save my grandmama, and did this, and then let us collapse. Come on, bro. Go ahead.
All you got to do is watch, I'm from the hood, and when I was growing up, they say you watch how people move, and then you know how to treat them. So I don't understand why people don't just watch how this woman moves and treat her accordingly. They rather live in a fantasy. See, the people that think she's a princess and all that are the same people that think our kind of people is real.
You're right.
So you got what they call cognitive dissonance going on.
Woo! Don't go in your bag, because when you go in your bag, you get everybody going in the chat, and I gotta calm the flames down. Well, Anita, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna let a couple other people get in here.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Woo-wee. Let's take another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, I'm calling on behalf of Chicago, South Side, but I'm in South Alabama right now.
Go ahead. Give us your take. Give us your take on it.
My take is it's really deeper it's a real sensitive subject when you're talking about Queen Elizabeth and the power that come with the monarch. So from my own experience being in Chicago, a Chicagoan, I can tell you how they affect us. And the picture photo walk is definitely a sign of extended colonization. Because you got to understand, England is a colony that affected us like how you just put it up here. And that's why I called, because I've been watching Ado's movement, people that Carmel. But I'm like, okay, you done broke the barrier because this is the source of our destruction. We all agree on that, but we're just scared to talk about it.
Let me focus in. Let me focus you in a little bit, though. I want to ask you, what do you think particularly about her visiting Harlem to sell her book?
I believe that's just going to be like some evidence that they're like charitable organizations because according to the emoluments clause, the federal government cannot give nobility and give nobility certain rights. So they're trying to act like that they're not working for the queen and with the queen, like they ran away. They're some rebellious couple. It's just a photo op. You see what I'm saying? To make it look like they're not completing the mission of destroying Chicago. And our other epicenters like Detroit, New Orleans, now Atlanta is pretty much gentrified. You see what I'm saying? This is the invasion of our culture because in Chicago we had Malcolm X, Olive Harvey, and Kennedy King College, and it was historically our people. We are gentrified. I attended Malcolm X. It was more Asian and Latinos than it was our people. So I know we're at war, but in Chicago they just said we're gangbanging, and we're telling you like it's not us. It's crisis actors making us look bad because we got the largest economy out of all of y'all, and they want to break that up.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? So
let me get to
deep down in your soul.
Let me get to a couple other callers, man. That's too much. Sometimes you just gotta let that simmer. That was a simmering call. Thank you so much. Let me take another caller, man. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Give me that fire. What do you think about Meghan Markle visiting this Harlem school in the context of this crown and everything else?
Yes, can you hear what I'm saying?
We hear you.
Okay, so my name is Shanette. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I know I was a photo op. What made me call was the part when you said that she's gray. If she's gray, she needs to be gray. Go be gray by herself, just like Kamala Harris, Tim Scott. You have Obama. All of them are black face with white agendas. That's exactly how I see it. Why would she go to Harlem? She had $500,000 worth of stuff on her. Why would she? Because she has no idea what it's like to be black. And I haven't seen her mother since she got married. Where's her mother?
Yeah, man, I don't know the specifics, man, caller. All I know is I just wanted to give a platform for everybody to kind of talk about Meghan Markle and Harry and visiting Harlem. And also, more importantly, I feel like I just don't, between Obama not being ADOS, which is huge, and then doing what he did with wealth, and black people just have skipped over that despite, look at this chart, look at this dip, and then he says, I'm not giving reparations, and he does this. And then he's not ADOS, and we elected him. And then you got Meghan Markle on the other side, who has part ADOS in her and said she was great. I'm not dealing with Kamala right now. And said she was great.
Right.
And now
let her be great.
Yeah, and now but you got black women who adamantly oppose interracial dating for whatever reason that they personally have. And I respect their reasoning, whatever they might have. But what I'm saying is if that is your moral compass, this family enslaved your family. And then you're Yas Queen and elevated and saying that why are you hating on her? As we have a lineal discussion about her marrying into the family that enslaved us. Make it make sense. Caller, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to end the show. This is Tone Talks coming to you from the Tone Talks show on YouTube. Please go to tonetalks.org. That's a lot of Tone Talks. And support the channel. We got to keep this discussion going because it seems like everybody else is just jumping over it. They use this mechanism of hatred or negativity to mask how no one wants to talk about what has to happen in terms of lineage in terms of understandings of wealth to have any black politics.